What's up, guys? This is Pedro from My Stuttering Life, where you will hear the good, the bad, the very ugly. We're gonna laugh, we're gonna cry, but through it all, just know that you are not alone. So, let's get started. This is episode number 67, and my special guest is Benjamin Schussheim. Benji is a senior at Staples High School in Westport, Connecticut. He enjoys jazz, saxophone, piano, coding, and stuttering advocacy. In his junior year in high school, Benji began giving presentations on stuttering to classes and local organizations on stuttering. Since then, Benji has been a keynote speaker at the American Institute for Stuttering Gala and published an article on Joe Biden and stuttering in NBC News. He will be attending Duke University this fall. I am honored to have him as a guest with me on the My Stuttering Live podcast. Welcome, Benjamin Schussheim.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
This is a pleasure, Benjamin. We have a lot of topics to go over, so let's get started.
Awesome. I'm psyched.
So, do you remember when you first began to stutter?
Yeah, so it's kind of been on and off for me, really, ever since I could talk. My dad stuttered and my uncle stuttered, so it's in the family. But funny enough, I can actually remember the exact week that it kind of shifted into high gear, I guess. It was February vacation of fifth grade, and that's where my stutter started to become a lot more noticeable and frequent.
You were talking about that your dad and your uncle also have had stuttered. Do they still have it, or did they somehow overcome it?
My dad kind of quote unquote grew out of it towards the end of high school. He still utters sometimes, but it's pretty rare. As for my uncle, it was my great uncle, so I don't really know too much about him, but I know that there are some genetic roots with it.
There are, because my mom, she stuttered as a child, and in her teenage years, she just told herself that she was done, and she was done. And so, she just halted. And so, it's just, it's very interesting because I don't know if I was bound to get it anyway genetically, but because of the dog attack that I had at the age of 5, maybe it brought it on quicker. I don't know, but yeah, that runs also in my family also.
Oh wow! The dog attack sounds pretty scary, but it's kind of weird how many factors are at play here. Like for me, when I was 10, it was probably puberty that really did the trick to kickstart me.
School-wise, did you ever have speech therapy in school? And if you did, was it helpful?
So I didn't start speech therapy in school, and I was about 11. I started to do speech therapy at the American Institute for Stuttering, and I know this sounds a bit cheesy, but it really just changed my life. Because before then, I used to always try to hide my stutter. I used to think that I couldn't let anyone know that I stuttered, because if they did, then they'd think I was weird or incompetent, and et cetera, et cetera. And I thought that the only way that I could ever talk to someone was if I spoke fluently. And whenever I stuttered, that was a failure to me. And whenever I spoke fluently, that was a victory to me. But after doing some speech therapy, I kind of had my mentality on stuttering redefined. Because what's really special about the American Institute for Stuttering is that they have this mentality with their speech therapy, that the goal of speech therapy isn't to help someone stop stuttering. It's to help them realize that stuttering shouldn't hold them back. And for me, that was a game changer, because I went from thinking that talking was this minefield where I could step on a stutter at any second, to being confident with how I talk, and to realize that I don't have to always be in fear.
That is great. And first of all, it is not cheesy. I think it's awesome that you had, gotten the help through the American Institute for st- 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 stuttering. And I love their motto. You know, don't let it hold you back, because I can tell you throughout my long time span, because I'm a lot older than you are, Benji, just a little bit. My stutter, it had held me back from everything. That that you could possibly imagine. It kept me from doing, and and so as a child, I was mainly by myself, because no one wanted to hang around the kid, who sputtered, and you know, who couldn't talk right, who had facial tics and facial jerking. But now, ooh, now I focus on living. I don't focus on my stutter anymore, and like that motto, I do not let it hold me back, and so that is awesome.
Wow, it's really great to hear. Like, it's really sad to think about how many people who stutter still never get to that change in mentality, and still live with it holding them back. Which is why I think that there needs to be a lot of work done to change how other people perceive stuttering. Which is why I really love the idea of a podcast like this. I only just kind of got into the world of podcasts, and it's really great to see how people are spreading the word about this. Like unlike what it was before. Technology let us do things like this.
You are 1,000% correct, because it took me 35 years. Over 3 decades. To just finally reach a point where it's like, okay, I'm tired of being tired. I mean, because as you know, stuttering is exhausting. I mean, it drains you all day long. I'm having blocks. And when I have blocks, I don't breathe. My eyes are closed. My arms are going all over the place. I may get dizzy, may pass out. I mean, it's exhausting to have a stutter. And so, granted, I wish I had reached a point, much earlier, like in my 20s. But, when I was 40 years old, I said, okay, I'm tired of being tired. I don't care what people think about my stutter. I really don't. Previously, I was mortified, terrified, on what people thought of my stuttering. Granted, I was a people pleaser back in the day, but not no more, because that too is exhausting. And so, once I turned 40, I said, that's it. I'm all done. I am going to live my life. If I stutter, oh well, guess what? Life will go on. I'm going to breathe. I will hopefully get over the block. If I don't, give me 4 hours. I'll get over the block. Just hang in there with me. Please be patient. But, you make a great point that with, all this new, technology and, um, s- social media, and then podcasting. Did you know that there are over 900,000 podcasts and only 10 are by people who stutter for people who stutter?
Wow.
I'm telling you, that is like super niche. I mean, that is like very specific. But we are out there, and so I mean, I feel like I'm just blessed to have this platform to tell the whole world that people who stutter, we're awesome, and we are courageous. We are highly creative because we have to be to handle life's daily struggles. Okay, so talking about struggles, high school life. So, high school for a lot of people is very stressful, but if you stutter, it's like 1,000 times more stressful. How do you handle high school and having a stutter?
Yeah, I'm in my last year of high school, so I've had a lot of time to figure out how to navigate my way around things. So for me, school was really tough with stuttering. Towards the beginning of my stuttering adventure in middle school, because I was so afraid of raising my hand or to talking in class. But uh, as speech therapy went on, I started to kind of become proactive about how I deal with stuttering. I have a tradition of every year email all of my teachers and to tell them that I stutter, and to tell them to just be patient with me. And also, on the first day of school, I tried to tell everyone in my class that I stutter, and that they shouldn't call the police if they hear me repeating sounds and stuff like that. And I feel like that that's been super helpful in changing the atmosphere of high school, because when people hear me stutter, it's not a surprise, and I kind of get to lay back and not have to worry uh, about what they're thinking. and it's freed me a lot. I think because as of now, I feel like stuttering isn't a problem at all in school. I mean, sometimes it's tough if I have to play like an in-class game of Jeopardy, where people have to say answers to practice questions really fast. But besides that, I've noticed that I've never gotten a bad grade on an oral presentation in my life, because I think it's that my teachers are scared of getting sued if they give me a bad grade.
Yeah, that's a good point, Benji. You made also two other awesome points. The first one is I love how you coined the phrase stuttering adventure, because it is. I mean, I kid you not. I mean, every day is an adventure if you are a person who stutters, because you have the telephones, you have drive-throughs, you have restaurants. So I mean, yeah, so it is an adventure. Let me tell you. And then also, you also you had made the comment to have people not call the police. So let me tell you, Benji, my H's are really bad. And so when I am making a phone call, or when I get a phone call, I try to say hello. But as you know, the H's, it's a heavy breathing sound. Well, I've had people tell me, if, I am going to call the cops, you pervert, because you're heavy breathing.
Oh
So
God.
I just politely hang up the phone. Please don't call the police. I just stutter. That's all.
That that would make a pretty funny crime TV episode.
Yes. Yes, it would, Benji. All right. So, do you have any advice for parents and teachers with regards to children who stutter?
Yeah, I wish that someone had told me this pretty much the instant I started stuttering. But the biggest advice that I can give to any person who knows someone who stutters, or any person who stutters, is to not fall into the trap of what I like to call we're worshipping the fluency gods. It's just to think that stuttering is bad and fluency is good, and if I can just work hard enough to quote unquote overcome my stuttering and stop stuttering, then life is going to be perfect. Um, because the really funny and kind of interesting thing about stuttering is that the more you don't want to stutter, the more you do. I like to think about it like a Chinese finger trap. Where the tension between your fingers is a bit like the tension between your vocal cords, and the more you try to push through a stutter, the more stuck you get in that tension. So the way around this isn't to keep pushing through your stutter and to keep finding ways to speak fluently. It's to kind of steer into the skid, and to realize that it's not the end of the world if you stutter. And instead of trying to speak fluently, you should focus on making an atmosphere where you believe it's okay to stutter. So you can kind of break that vicious cycle of tension, and stop living in constant anticipation of when you might stutter. And uh, I think that there's a lot of confusion out there for what it means to overcome stuttering. A lot of the times, people mean it as overcoming stuttering means to speak fluently. But how I see it is overcoming stuttering means to accept it as part of who you are, and to not let stuttering get in the way of doing what you want to do.
Wow. That is profound, Benji. Ooh, well, you were talking, I was taking notes because I mean that was good. I mean, that was deep. That was, I mean, and 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 so I mean you hit it right on the nose a couple of times. Um with that, because I know a lot of people. I mean, I'm talking a lot of people who stutter and they are chasing that fluency god. And I mean, they are paying all this money and doing this and doing that. Now, granted, when I was in my 20s, all right, I tried voodoo. Okay, no judging, but this voodoo woman, she claimed she could cure my stuttering. And I mean, so, I, had a couple of 20s. And so, she had me hold a rooster's foot or, a rooster's claw over my head. And then, I turned around a couple of times and there was a glass of water. And so she said that if she takes the egg and cracks it into the water, if the yolk holds, I'm cured. Although if it breaks, then, I'm not. So here I am all excited because I turned around a couple of times. And so she has the egg and she cracks it into the glass of water and the yolk holes. I said, wow, okay, that's awesome. I'm cured. Gave her the money, walked out, and guess what? Lesson learned. Hashtag never do this again. So yes, and I love how you put it all into perspective. To overcome your stutter is to just accept it. It is a part of you, and so I think that is just awesome. I mean, that's just profound.
I didn't think that there would be such a thing as literally worshiping the voodoo god of fluency. But yeah, apparently there is.
Oh yes, sir, there is. Believe me. Now let's talk about your everyday life. How do you handle telephones? Is a phone your nemesis or your friend?
I think of it like a really good practice stage because the phone is the hardest place to take to that mentality of embracing stuttering and not worshiping the fluency gods. Because there's no body language to bail you out. But I see the phone as a really good opportunity to tell whoever I'm talking to that I stutter as soon as I start talking. Because I feel like if you can do that on the phone, then you can do it pretty much anywhere. And I kind of take pride in answering the phone because it used to be another one of those scenarios where I'd avoid it like the plague because I knew that I was going to stutter and that couldn't happen. But now I kind of see each phone call that I take as as showing myself that I don't have to let this hold me back.
See, and that is awesome. It is super important on d- disclosing because I learned that at 40. I mean, I tell everybody I stutter. If I get hung up, just be patient. If my eyes close and my arms are going all over the place, just be patient. If I pass out, just call 911. Just help you, help me, help you. That is all that I'm asking. I'm not asking for too much, right? No? Yes? Okay. So, how do you handle restaurants?
Uh, about the same way as I handle phones. I, I try to advertise or tell people that I stutter as much as I can. And besides that, really the only difference between restaurants and phones is that I can use my body language to tell people that this isn't something to freak out about because I feel like emotions are contagious with stuttering. And if you're freaking out about stuttering in front of a waiter or a waitress, then chances are the waiter or waitress is going to feel the need to freak out too.
That is a very good point. So, hashtag don't freak out.
I love it.
Now, do you think that it's important to have a thick skin as a person who stutters?
It's kind of a requirement, I think. Well, and if you don't already have a thick skin, uttering is going to give you one because um, how I think about it is most people would overcome their fears and build their characters by doing something like riding a scary roller coaster or jumping off a high diving board. But as a person who stutters, I'm doing that sort of thing hundreds of times a day because pretty much every time I talk, I'm overcoming my fears. So the uttering is a great opportunity to develop that thick skin and to constantly teach yourself that what you're afraid of isn't going to stop you.
How cool. That, I mean, wow. Again, I was taking notes because, wow, Benji, you are just dropping some golden nuggets. Let me tell you. Those are golden nuggets right there, buddy. All right. So, in your younger days, or, possibly now, have you experienced social isolation because of your stuttering?
Thank God, not much. I was super lucky to have incredibly supportive family and friends throughout it all. If anything, any type of social isolation that I've been through while stuttering has kind of been self-imposed. Like like in the earlier years. So sometimes I wouldn't tell a joke to a friend because I thought that I was going to stutter on it, or I wouldn't uh, to talk to a stranger who I thought I could be friendly with because I was worried about how they would react. And I feel like it's gotten a lot better over the years. And if anything, I feel like stuttering has kind of helped me both socially and with friends and all that, because I feel like it's given me insight um, into what it feels like to be an outsider and to be afraid of what other people might think. And it's made me a lot more empathetic. And I'm always thinking about what's going on in other people's heads because I know that there's a lot going on in my head that a lot of people don't know about.
Very good points. How cool. Now, it is always, I mean, I tell everybody, it is always important to have people around you who are supportive and so who are also nurturing. And so during those hard times, those dark times, you can always reach out. So I am a strong supporter of having positive people around you. So yeah, that is awesome. So, have you done this? Because I do this. I mean, I have a lot of tools in my tool belt. I have a lot of tricks and crutches. I use accents every now and then. It's not lovely. No, not really. But have you ever done this? Okay, let's say you are having a block, and to help you get out of the block, you are either tapping your leg or, tapping your face. Have you ever rhythmically tapped your foot to help you get out of a block?
Well, in the earlier years, I would have done accents more if I could do an accent for my life, but sadly I can't. But yeah,
Me neither.
in a speech therapy business, we call things that people do to speak fluently avoidance behaviors. And I have done a lot of avoidance behaviors. It's a bit like the Batman's tool belt. There's just about an infinite number of tricks that you could pull out. Um, but over the years, I've been trying to wean myself off those tools, and I've been trying to get a different set of tools to help me deal with stuttering in a different kind of way, because if you think about it, using things like accents or switching words around or tapping your foot, it's really just another way of worshiping the fluency gods because you are doing things to try to make yourself speak fluently because you think that uttering is bad. I feel like those type of avoidance behaviors are both a cause and an effect of having that underlying harmful mentality about stuttering. So over the years, I've tried to get rid of those as much as possible. But I also have a few different types of techniques that pinpoint stuttering in a different way, I think. I'm a huge fan of doing this thing called fake stuttering, which is pretty self-explanatory, really. Basically, all you do is stutter on purpose. And the idea behind this is that people who stutter are so used to being reactive to having a block. But if you stutter on purpose, you're kind of turning that around. So you're going to the stutter instead of letting the stutter come to you. And it also turns around our mentalities on stuttering because it teaches us that stuttering is so okay. I would even do it on purpose. So I feel like this is a great way to change how people think about stuttering, and to also change the mechanical way that people who stutter, because if you keep teaching your subconscious this mentality on stuttering, eventually your stuttering becomes a lot more comfortable and flowing, because you're not feeding that vicious cycle of tension of avoiding your stutter. So for me, that's the way that I go about it.
That is awesome because I've also heard a lot of people doing that, stuttering on purpose, and that has helped them out tremendously. And so, I may try that. I may try that because I'm taking a lot of notes, Benji, as you're talking. So you are so wise. You like super wise. So I am just jotting down all these golden nuggets.
And uh, also a fun way to spice up doing fake stutters is to count how many fake stutters you do. Like what I do a lot of the times is I'll carry around a tally counter in my pocket, and I'll count how many times I stutter on purpose in a day, and it makes it fun because I try to beat my records, and I can see my progress.
How cool. I bet you it's a high number, right?
Yeah, my record is somewhere around 900. I was shooting for 1,000, but
Wow.
I didn't quite get there.
Wow. That's just like wow. That's all I can say is wow, Benji. Um, so do you experience f- f- fluency phases? Like, 1 week your stutter is m- mild, and then 1 week, it's just really horrible. Do you go through that also? Phases in your fluency?
Oh yeah, of course. The stuttering fluctuates all the time. It gets severe or more severe, like over weeks and over days and over minutes. So it's a lot to go through. But how I see it is, so uttering more or less doesn't really bother me so much. It's really just the way that it affects me, and how I define a bad day of stuttering is when I'm being avoidant about stuttering, and I am worrying about it if I stutter or if I don't. Um, and that fluctuates a lot too. But I think that it's really important to just ride the wave of both how often and how severe you're stuttering, and also how you're dealing with your stuttering mentally, because the fluctuations are bound to happen.
You are so correct because there'll be weeks that I will have awesome speech, and then later people will tell me, "Were you faking it?" No, this is not fake news. I do have a stutter. I've had it for a very long time. We just, go through phases. Like the term that you coined, it is an adventure. It's an adventure. Okay, Benji, here is a hot topic. Okay. This is like a super hot topic. And so all of the answers that I get from around the world, it's split 50-50. So let me ask you this hot topic question.
All right, hit me.
Okay, no pressure, no pressure. All right, okay. I'm going to breathe. Hold on. Okay. So, do you let others finish your sentences?
No way. No way. Because how I see it is, if someone finishes your sentences, to me, it's like them telling me, you are so bad at talking because you stutter, that I'm going to try to talk for you. And to me, finishing my sentence is probably the worst thing that anyone could do. Because on top of what I just said, I feel like it creates a time pressure to talk, because I feel like I have a set number of seconds of stuttering, before someone will try to jump in and finish my sentences. And to me, that translates into, I have to talk fast. I can't stutter, which then just makes me stutter even more, because of the stuttering paradox that I was talking about. So, as you can probably tell, I have pretty strong feelings about this.
Yes, sir. I can feel it all the way here in Texas. I can feel it. It's all good, sir. It's all good. Okay, so here is another hot topic. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna hit you with a bunch of hot topics. So, all
Oh
right, so
boy.
just get ready. All right. So here's a big one. So, when you are alone, can you speak without stuttering?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. It changes a lot. Like, I stutter a lot less, uh, but it's never completely gone. Because, and I'm speaking alone. There's no question of if I'm allowing myself to stutter, because when I'm talking to anyone else, I have the mentality ingrained into me that I shouldn't be stuttering. And no matter how hard I try, it's always going to be there, just a little bit. But when I'm alone, that's pretty much gone. And it goes back to the vicious cycle I was talking about earlier. Because when I believe that I have complete permission to stutter, I tend to stutter a lot less. But also, stuttering is pretty ingrained into the muscle memory of how I talk too. So even when I'm alone, that tends to surface a little bit.
See, and that is very interesting. Um, uh, again, all of the answers were just split right down the middle, 50-50. But for me, I still stutter, when I'm talking to myself, as we all do, no judging. So as we all talk to ourselves, I still stutter. When I'm talking to my dog, Ruby Jean, I still stutter. So, we're all different in our stuttering adventures. See? Adventures. All right. So here is another one. Have you ever had a block when meeting a new person? For example, let's say you have a doctor's appointment and then you walk up to the front desk and the admin person greets you, and they ask you for your name, and then you have a block, a really long block. Have you ever been asked, did you forget your name?
I actually haven't, and I'm waiting for it to happen to me.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's weird, right?
It's never happened to you, Benji?
Yeah, I feel like that's like an initiation ceremony for being a person who stutters, and I'm kind of annoyed.
Well, let me tell you, Benji, if I had a quarter for every time that happened to me, I would have a Range Rover, a Tesla. I mean, I would have every luxury auto that you could possibly imagine.
It's a shame the world doesn't work that way.
Exactly. And so let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk about your career path. I know that your motto is don't let it hold you back. Do you think that your stutter will limit you career wise?
Uh, 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 I think that it'll actually do the opposite. Well, because I wrote my college admission essay about stuttering, and it got me into Duke. So I feel like I'm doing something right with that. Um, and as far as my career goes, I feel like stuttering is only an obstacle if you make it one. Um, as of now, I'm pretty into computer science, and I think I might keep doing that in college and beyond. Who knows? Like actually, right now, I have a pet project where I'm trying to make a speech recognition algorithm that understands stuttering. So I feel like stuttering actually opens up a lot of opportunities um, for both activism and spreading the word about stuttering, and also in the way the the technology and stuttering mix.
Ooh, that would be awesome, Benji. I mean, if you because oh, okay, that's a hot topic for me that we will cover in just 5 minutes. So hold on, we will get there, Benji. Hold on. All right. So here is another hot topic. All right. So dating. Dating is a little stressful for everybody. If you are a PWS, a person who stutters, it's like 1,000 times more difficult. How do you handle dating with having a stutter?
Yeah, it's an adventure for sure. But actually, right now,
Yes, it is.
well, so right now, I'm in probably the best possible scenario that there is, because I've been going around my high school giving presentations about stuttering to try to spread the word about this, because I feel like stuttering is really commonly misunderstood, with how people worship the fluency gods, and let stuttering hold them back in a lot of different ways. So I've been trying to change how people view that. And so far, I've given to 20 presentations to classes in my high school and local organizations around my town. And funny enough, my girlfriend right now was actually in one of the presentations I gave a few months back.
How cool. That is wow.
Yeah, it was a perfect chance to explain everything that I needed to say about stuttering, and it's turning out really well. So, if you're listening to this right now, Taylor, hi.
That's awesome. Now, here is what you were talking about briefly. Okay. So, what do you think about all this new technology? You have Google Home, you have Alexa, then you have Siri with Apple. Do you think this is helpful or hurtful for people who stutter?
Uh, I I think it has the potential to be helpful, because right now, whenever a person who stutters should tries to use any of these speech recognition algorithms, it sends the message that in order for us to be understood, we have to speak fluently, which is a bad mentality to have because it feeds the vicious cycle of stuttering and et cetera, et cetera. Um, but I do think that there's a way to make it work for people who stutter. Which is what I'm trying to get some headway in right now, because there actually have been a few algorithms that help people who stutter use speech recognition. But the problem is that the accuracy for these things are pretty bad, and they're also not widely available for people to actually use. Um, so how I see it is the next step for how we can make speech recognition available to people who stutter is to make it personalizable. So I'll spare you all the computer science mumbo jumbo, but what I'm trying to make an algorithm to do is a very long story short is that it asks people who stutter to purposefully stutter in different ways, which, another long story short, makes the algorithm have an easier time picking up on what is stuttering and what's not. So for example, an algorithm could have a setting where people who stutter purposefully stutter slower or louder or quieter, um, which gives the audio of stuttering a distinct characteristic that a computer could pick up on to better understand people who stutter.
How cool. I mean, wow. Because that would be extremely beneficial because, I might try to use that voice technology and, it will just repeat what I said, which is horrible. So, I just do everything manually. So I can't wait until that comes out because I will be the first one to buy it. Because I'm ready, Benji. I'm ready.
Well, the good news is that if robots take over the world, then people who stutter would make all of them short circuit.
Oh my god. I love that. We will rule the world.
Soon.
Exactly. All right. So, what is a challenge, speech wise, that you had to overcome, and how did you do it?
Wow, there's a lot of them. Overcoming a challenge. I feel like there are so many just small challenges that go on pretty much every day with people who stutter, because it's one thing to say that you accept your stuttering and that you don't care if you stutter or if you don't, but there are a zillion layers of accepting your stuttering, and as you work through each of those layers, it brings you closer to the confidence in talking, and the the fearlessness of not caring about if you stutter or if you don't. Like for example, pretty much every challenge that I've overcome with stuttering has been inching me closer to that goal. So, for example, when I started off, I didn't have much of a problem stuttering, but I had a very big problem with stuttering for quote unquote too long. because I had this mentality that I didn't want to quote unquote waste people's time. So that's been a big challenge for me that I've been working to overcome for a while. And really, the only way to do that is to keep telling yourself that it doesn't matter how long it takes to stutter. What I have to say is worth waiting, and it takes a lot of practice. Sometimes I talk super slowly, like this to show myself that I don't need to speak as fast as everyone else, and I don't need to speak fluently in order to achieve that level of speed in my speech. Because how I see it is for people who stutter, it takes them a few extra seconds or minutes to say something. But for a lot of people who don't stutter and have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, it takes them hours to say something.
Wow. You made some awesome points, and again, I've written down some golden nuggets. So that is just awesome. Benji, you are wise before your time, let me tell you. Ooh, okay. So here's a deep question. What has stuttering taught you?
So much, so much. Um, Probably the most useful thing that stuttering has given me is that it's the best personality test in the world. Uh, because if people have a problem with your stutter and they make fun of you for it, or they tell you to come on, spit it out, then chances are that that's not the kind of person you want to be hanging around with, because it shows me at least that they care so little about what I have to say that 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 they're not willing to wait a couple extra seconds for me to say it.
Well, that is powerful. Ooh, I got goosebumps. Hold on. Ooh, that was strong, Benji. All right. So, what advice would you give to another person who stutters?
Ooh, wow, there's a lot. So this is a bit of a shameless plug, but it's not so shameless because I just think that they're an amazing organization. But I'd say to check out the American Institute for Stuttering because they've absolutely changed my life, and they're fighting an amazing fight with trying to globally change the way that people think about and deal with stuttering. So if you can call them about scheduling a video chat, each therapy session if you want, or just look at their website and see some info. And if they can help you, a quarter of how much they helped me, then you'll be in great shape.
See, and that is awesome because there are lots of places that are out there to help people who stutter. So, I mean, it is all good with Pedro. You just tell me everything about the AIS. It's all good.
Can do.
Now, so if you had the opportunity to give the world in to give the world insight on stuttering, what message would you convey to the world?
Huh. Let's see. It's kind of hard to compress everything that I want to say about stuttering into a few sentences. But I'd say that stuttering doesn't need to be hidden or fixed. And like I said before, it shouldn't hold you back from anything. Um, but the thing that I'm starting to realize more and more is that the question you just asked me actually is starting to become less and less hypothetical. Because I wrote an article about this in NBC, but Joe Biden, who's the utters himself, is starting to become a pretty influential figure out there. And I feel like if we were able to tell Biden this new mentality on dealing with stuttering, then he would have an absolutely amazing national stage to spread the word about that to a lot of people. Which, if you think about it, would be a complete game changer. Because, like I said towards the start of this podcast, it's it's really sad for me to think about how many people are still in the same state of minds that I was when I started to stutter when I was about 10 years old. And I don't mean this in a patronizing way, and to say that everybody who doesn't think about stuttering the exact same way that I do is a non-believer and blah blah blah. But I feel like there is a way out of all the fear and the shame that stuttering can induce in people. And I feel like there is a way to change how a lot of people think about this. Because imagine how awesome it would be if whenever you met anyone for the first time, they already knew what stuttering was, and they already knew how you felt about being a person who stutters. I feel like that would free a lot of people from being in the state of, oh my god, I'm so ashamed of stuttering, I can't let anybody know.
See, and that is a powerful message because I can't tell you how many emails I get from around the world, from Pakistan, from Germany, from India, Australia, where their stutter, I mean, it it is so powerful that it is keeping them from living their dream, and so, thankfully, now that there are lots of people online. I mean, there are some awesome YouTubers who stutter. There are podcasts by people who stutter for people who stutter, and there are people like you who are just out there telling the world, and writing that awesome article on Joe Biden and his stutter. That's all positiveness that is much needed because in a world where you cannot answer the phone or you cannot order at a restaurant or dating is just out of the question. There are people like you and like me and many, 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 many others who are just living their best life and they are not worried about their stutter. They have it. Life goes on. There are some techniques that I will use to help me get over a block, but I'm not going to let it control my life no more.
That's the name of the game, absolutely. But I feel like while it's awesome that the message about stuttering is starting to spread more and more nowadays because of technology and all that. I feel like there is a kind of another side to it because there's a capability to spread harmful mentalities on stuttering that tend to reach a lot of people. Like for example, Joe Biden right now has told the story of how he overcame quote unquote stuttering by practicing how to speak fluently. And this just encourages other people to try to overcome stuttering by pulling tricks to speak fluently, which most of the time will get them trapped in that vicious cycle, because trying to speak fluently just makes stuttering even worse. So I feel like there's still a lot of work to be done.
That's why you're here, Benji. That's why I'm here, Benji. That's why there are a lot of people out there. That that is what we are doing right now. And so I want to thank you, Benji. I want to thank you for spending some time with me today. I think you are hashtag awesome.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Now, I have global listeners. I mean, they are awesome. People are all around the globe. Let's say they wanted to reach out to you. How would they do that?
Yeah, of course. Well, you could find me on Twitter at B Schussheim. It's the first letter of my first name and then my last name. It's spelled Bschussheim, like Mary. Or you could email me at bschuss02@gmail.com. Again, it's spelled bschuss02 at gmail.com. So yeah, just if you have any questions or you want to talk about anything, just hit me up.
They will, Benji, believe me. I have awesome global listeners and they will be reaching out. And so I'll put all those links in the podcast show notes, and then also a link to your published article. So again, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I think you are just awesome. And so I know down the road, this will not be our last conversation because you have such a bright future. And so I can't wait to have our next conversation while you are at Duke University.
Great. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I had an awesome time talking to you.
Thank you, sir. You have an awesome day and be well.
If you like this podcast, head on over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate, and review. Thank you for listening, and we will talk again.